We're talking about kindergartners, first graders, and second graders. I don't think we want to limit anyone, especially students that have complex communication needs. We don't know what they're learning in many situations because they don't have full communication access yet. And so operating with the assumption that they are learning and that we're giving them access to language and phonics and phonemic awareness and all the things that come with it. I think, we don't default initially to just sight words. That's a very limited vocabulary and is to me sort of an ableist mindset around we're going to start you off by limiting you and then later on say that you're not able to do higher level learning and thinking because you don't have the vocabulary and the ability to read things that we could have actually taught you. And we're really actually seeing that some of our inclusive college programs who are serving our students with intellectual and developmental disabilities in particular, they're getting many students who cannot read. And when they're coming in, they are teaching them to read in college, which tells us that they very much can learn to read, but that we need to do a better job in K-12 giving everyone access and not just saying, well, or that they're using a communication device. And so we're going to limit them by the things on their device, which is what happens often with our students with more extensive support needs. We also don't want to limit a student's ability, like that early language and early literacy, the access to it, just like with our multilingual learners, is so critical. And, I would ask, why wouldn't we give them access to tier 2 and tier 3 interventions, even if we suspected something, whether or not they had intellectual or developmental disabilities, because we don't know to what degree all those things are entangled. So why wouldn't we operate with the assumption that everyone can learn, everyone can get some degree of literacy? We don't know for sure with any kid what they're capable of, but let's assume that they're all capable and give them access to all the things and not just what I worry about is that a general ed teacher might have students with disabilities in their class and say, well, these are my gen ed kids, quotes, I say that with quotes. These are my special ed, my students with disabilities. Those are going to be served by special ed and ed specialists. So I don't need to worry about them because they're going to take care of that stuff. What we want to see is students that are fully included and that are getting the full range of MTSS and RTI in their classrooms where they're getting lots of visual supports and those kinds of things in order to fully digest literacy and comprehension and higher level learning and thinking, so that we're not at college saying, wow, look, they could have been reading all this time and then had access to so much more. And now they're taking college level courses and they're understanding things like, we just don't know what people are capable of. And I think the limits that we're putting on especially that population of students is our own mindset limits. And I hope that we don't see that. So I'm hoping that parents don't opt their students out. And instead of allowing a team to ask if they're going to do the assessment, ask how they're going to. How are we going to do these screeners or this screening in addition to some of the other types of assessments that we do that won't always pull out a predisposition, especially if you're not looking for something.